Hey, so every year iPadOS improves on the external keyboard support on iPads. But this year with iOS 15, Apple went full steam ahead and added loads and loads of shortcuts that honestly makes working with the keyboard on the iPad so much better. In this video, I'm going to go over all the shortcuts that I use that I think you should too. Okay, so on the iPad, the first thing is waking it up from sleep. And really, you can do that by pressing any key, but I like to use the spacebar. Just a simple tap to wake it and then unlock. But what's even more important is what you do when you're done and want to turn it off. Instead of reaching out and using that side button, you can press Function and L together and lock your iPad and turn that screen off. Pretty useful, right? Okay, so spacebar to unlock and Function L to lock. Now on the home screen, you can go over the widgets and apps with the arrow keys. But what if you want to go to the next page? You cannot just keep going, right? It'll just loop back up. Instead, you hold down Command and then use the arrow keys to move between pages. And you can go inside folders as you normally would and select any app you want. But to get out of this folder, you cannot use Escape. Yeah, you have to use Command Up to go back or Command Edge to go home. Actually, to go home, you can use both Command Edge and Globe Edge. Globe is another one of those modifier keys on the iPad. It's this icon on keyboards made for iPad, but if you're using a regular keyboard like I am, you can customize what the modifier keys do in settings. Here you can choose what key acts like what. Like I have assigned Globe to the control key on my keyboard. Yeah, Command, Option and Globe are all the modifier keys that you're going to use on your iPad. Alright, so Command Edge or Globe Edge to go home. Command left or right to move between pages, and Command up to go back and exit this folder. Now you don't want to have to go home every time you want to open another app. You can use the spotlight just like on the Mac to open apps or search for anything on your iPad. Just press Command space and start typing in what you're looking for. It works incredibly well and is way faster than going back to the home screen. You can also bring up the dock by pressing Globe A and select any app from here. And you can also open the app library by Globe Shift A. So Command space to search for your apps, Globe A to bring up the dock, and Globe Shift A to open the app library. Alright, for multitasking, first you can hold down Globe and use the arrow keys to switch between your recently used apps. Pretty intuitive. Now to bring up the app switcher, press Globe up. Here you can use the tab and arrow keys to select from your open apps. And if you have multiple windows of the same app open, you can press Globe down to bring up the shelf and switch to the window you want. So pretty easy, right? Globe left or right to move back and forth between your apps, Globe up to open the app switcher, and Globe down to bring up the shelf. You can also use the Mac version, which is Command Tab to cycle through your last 7 apps. And the last one, use Globe / to show or hide the slide over window. Now there are a lot more of these multitasking shortcuts, but I think these are sufficient and not overwhelming to actually put them to use. And you know, if you're watching this on your iPad right now, try out these shortcuts along with the video. It'll make everything a little less overwhelming for you later. Okay, so working with text on the iPad is so much better with the keyboard, but can be even better with these shortcuts. Alright, so first is positioning the cursor, moving it so you can get it exactly where you want faster. Like we've all been there, holding down the arrow key, waiting for the cursor to just get to the end of the line or whatever. Well, guess what? You can just hold down Command and it'll jump straight to the end of the line. Yep, you can also move to the top or end of the page with the command up or down. And if you'd rather move by word, hold down the Option key instead of Command. And now you're moving through words. Just like that. And the great thing is this not only works for positioning the cursor, but also for deleting and even better, selecting text. Yep, holding down the Option key along with Shift makes selecting text literally so much better and faster. Yeah, you'll never want to go back once you start doing it this way. It's so good. Now you can copy this text by the good old Command C or format it using Command B, I or U for bold, italics or underline. And all of this works across the entire system, so you don't have to be in Notes or a specific app to use these commands. You can use them wherever you're typing. And if you like to use emojis a bunch, like I do, pressing the globe key once brings up an emoji keyboard in line. and you can even search for just the right one. Alright, so remember, hold down Option to jump through words and Command to jump through lines. Okay, next up is a bunch of shortcuts for the Notes app, which I use a ton. Alright, so Notes has these text presets like title, heading, subheading to format your notes, but it's buried down in this menu. So instead, use Command Shift and then T for title, H for heading, J for subheading, and B for body. And unlike the bold italics command, you don't need to select the text first. The cursor just needs to be in the same line and it just works. Also, to start a checklist, press Command Shift L. And you can even check and uncheck using Command Shift U. So Command Shift T, H, J or B to format, Command Shift L for checklist, and Command Shift U to checkmark. But of course, you can start a numbered list if you start with one dot, or a bullet list if you start a new line with a dash followed by space. You don't really need a shortcut for that. You can create a new note with Command N and delete one with a backspace when you're not editing and it's highlighted in the side menu. And to end editing, you have to press Command Enter and not the escape key like you'd think. I know, it's a bit weird, but yeah, it works well. You press Enter to start editing a note and Command Enter to stop editing and choose a different one. You can also search your notes list with Command Option F. But yeah, I think that's enough shortcuts to remember for notes. Now going over to Safari, our first step would be to use the spacebar to scroll through web pages. And alternatively, you can also hold down the Option key to move faster like before. But spacebar works just as well, and you can use Shift plus spacebar to scroll back up. Now to go to a website or enter a search phrase, press Command L and type it in. And now to close this, you can actually press Escape here. Oh, and if your keyboard doesn't have an escape key, you can use Command plus period and it'll simulate the escape key for you. And of course, you can use Command right or left to go forwards or back, and Command R to reload. To open a new tab, press Command N or Command T. They both do the exact same thing. And I can close this tab by Command W. Okay, now to cycle through your open tabs, hold down the Command and Option key together and use the left or right arrow to move through them. Just like that. Or you can also go to like tab number 4 with Command 4 and so on. So like Command 1 to go to the first tab, Command 9 to go to the last tab, and you get the idea. Now that's two ways you can navigate through your open tabs. But if you'd like to get an overview of your tabs together, press Command Shift and /. Here you can either type in the name of the tab you're looking for, or use Tab or Shift Tab to go down and select from the ones in front of you. And finally, some other shortcuts that are useful enough to remember. First is a screenshot. Press Command Shift 3 and there you have it. Next are the globe key shortcuts, like globe S for Siri. Remind me to water the plants next week.
Done.
Globe Q to create a quick note. Globe N to show the notification center. And globe C to open the control center. But as you can see here, you cannot change any of these settings with the keyboard. And as far as I know, there's literally no other way unless your keyboard has these shortcut keys at the top. What you can do is enable full keyboard access in accessibility settings, which will in turn let you interact with everything on the screen without taking your hands off the keyboard. I personally find it to be a bit more involved. Yeah, this spacebar to enter. But yeah, if you never really want to touch the screen for anything, you can enable it in settings. And just like that, we have covered everything from system navigation to multitasking to notes and Safari. And I hope this video has been helpful to you. Check out this playlist for more iPad videos and comment down below which shortcut do you find the most useful. Like this video if you learned something new. Subscribe. I'll see you then.